happiness is a brain function. With a healthier brain always comes a happier life. That said, you can learn to cultivate happiness even when it seems like the world is crumbling around you. I promise. Researchers have spent decades trying to decode happiness, but they've completely missed many important aspects, only one of which is the fact that everyone's brain works differently. And I'm hoping you know that by now in our Infinity Health Coaching Program. So once you discover your brain type, and then you create happiness strategies that are best suited to your brain, you can begin to improve your overall brain health to consistently enhance your mood. I promise. You can protect your happiness by distancing yourself from that noise of past dragons and the automatic negative thoughts, those ants that infest your head. You can start to enhance your happiness with daily brain and body smart actions to be just 1% better than you were the day before. Now, we've discovered 5 primary brain types and 7 neuroscience secrets and questions that influence your happiness, because creating consistent happiness is a daily journey with no finish line. If you've not yet identified your brain type, I'm encouraging you to take this free assessment this weekend. And I'll drop the link for the coaching video with those 7 secrets and questions in this email. Those are great to review. Now, these are important fundamental tools to have in your permanent health and weight loss toolkit. So please schedule a call if you need help with putting those foundational pieces in place. But for today, in your coaching program, we are focused on that positivity bias, because this is a journey of infinity health. And as you cycle through life, it's chapters, challenges, and successes by working the positivity bias and the variables that affect your happiness. You will be better postured to live each day with clearly defined values, purpose, and goals. So let's talk about that positivity bias. And this accompanies last week's challenge for a week of no complaining. How did you do? What did you notice about automatic negative thoughts, those ants that creep into your day? Did you notice that your brain continually offered you inaccurate thoughts of negativity? Or maybe your brain tried to sugarcoat bad situations by lying to you about the reality of your day. Or maybe you just saw the silver lining and how it served your life. All of these examples are negative and positive, and they are both working full-time in your life, even if you don't realize it. That negativity bias is our tendency not only to register negative stimuli, but then more readily to start dwelling on those events. This psychological phenomenon explains why bad first impressions can be so difficult to overcome, and why past dragons can have such a long, lingering effect. In almost any interaction, we are more likely to notice negative thoughts and later remember them more vividly. See, as humans, we tend to remember traumatic experiences better than positive ones. We recall insults better than praise. We react more strongly to negative stimuli. We think about negative things more frequently than positive ones, and we respond more strongly to negative events than to equally positive ones. But there's good news, because we are also hardwired for a positivity bias, which is also known as the Pollyanna principle, which is a true case of life imitating art. It was named after the character from author Eleanor Porter's children's book, Pollyanna. This is a cheerful and optimistic girl who always looks on the bright side. Pollyanna played what she called the glad game, and what we might think of today as just practicing gratitude. See, in every situation, no matter how sad or upsetting, Pollyanna tried to find at least one good thing, a silver lining, as we often call it today. She's so good at this game that she ends up getting her whole town to play along, and then she ends up making a significant positive impact on the people of her town. How cool is that? That's the power of the positivity bias. Some examples might be like when you remember or think about your first date with your spouse. You think about the excitement and how well you got along rather than how nervous you were or how awkward the conversation was at times. Maybe you search for something on Google and you quickly scan through the resulting images, noticing the positive and happy images more often than the negative ones. Our inherent positivity bias suggests that we are still capable of focusing on the positive even in the most trying and depressing times. This innate tendency towards the positive is so powerful that it can guide you to use your own inner strength to restore a healthy balance of positivity with true and accurate thoughts, which you now know is the key to your creating permanent health, happiness, and weight loss. But it also requires that you become aware of your negativity bias and work to choose only accurate thoughts, casting aside the more tempting and easier negative thoughts or negativity bias. So here are 3 ways to use your positivity bias to eliminate your thoughts, feelings, actions, energy, and ultimately results that are keeping you trapped in bad moments, bad memories, past dragons. Okay, number 1, focus on why it will be a great day each morning and what went well when your head hits the pillow. In fact, I encourage you to keep a small notepad by your bed with a pen. Before your head hits the pillow each night, write down 3 things that make you unique and special. Why did you love yourself today? That might be hard to start out with 3, so maybe just 1. Then you read those 3 or 1 thing the minute you wake up the next morning. Training your brain to search for the good things that happen during a day is kind of like making your own highlight show. Make this a habit, a ritual, and routine to start creating neural pathways for positivity. Number 2, acknowledge that your brain on its own does not distinguish between reality now and those past dragons. When you reframe your past by acknowledging but also seeing it through a lens of reality, you are able to change your emotional state. What that might sound like is this. You know, my dad abandoned our family, and he did the best he could. He loved me to the best of his ability. This approach trains your thoughts by acknowledging the reality and not getting so self-absorbed to think through your feelings or to choose any other automatic negative thought species that feeds a loop of being stuck emotionally. It's hard to cast aside negative thoughts that you've held for so long that you've now created a complex negative belief system. I know that's hard. But remember, your feelings and your perceptions are not fact-based. Your feelings and perceptions are not true. So in our example, it would be inaccurate to say, you know, my dad didn't love me because I wasn't good enough. See, that type of emotional response is based on your personal feelings. It is inaccurate and it is connected to self-defeating thoughts. This is a muscle that you have to build for listening to negative thought patterns. So you have to practice, in fact, daily. Pick 1 negative thought daily to challenge. Ask yourself if your complaining and negativity is true with confidence. And my friends, if you catch yourself arguing for a negative thought, well, that's a big red flag of inaccurate thinking. So ask yourself, how do I feel and act when I have that thought? Am I arguing for it? And whom would I be without that thought? And then reverse your thought to the opposite thought, which is always more accurate. So if you find yourself complaining, say about your child who always argues with you, then push back by asking, is that true that he always argues with me? Maybe he sometimes argues with me and sometimes he doesn't. Then ask how you feel and act when you think that he is always arguing. You probably feel resentful and you're probably ready to yell at a moment's notice, right? So what's the opposite, more accurate thought? It might be, my son is argumentative and sometimes he's not. See, you bridge your thought. The whole idea is to start showing your brain other possibilities instead of staying stuck arguing for a negative thought loop. Okay, number 3 is super simple. If you want to feel happier, just start your day by directing your attention to what you are excited about, what you like, what you want, what you hope for, and what makes you happy rather than the negative. Okay, let's review. Optimists who use the positivity bias and pessimists who are more slanted to the negativity bias approach problems differently. Optimists generally proceed with a positive outlook without complaining. They see less than desirable situations as short-term, and they automatically look for that proverbial silver lining. Pessimists who rely on the negativity bias expect the sky to fall. They argue for their own stress, overwhelm, doom, and gloom. They see that everything is wrong and they're generally conflict driven. A sense of optimism lifts your immune system. It helps prevent chronic disease. It allows you to stand in your power in life rather than feeling like a victim in your own life. Hopeless, helpless. And most of all, optimists who use that Pollyanna principle are able to cope with bad circumstances and move through it while staying on track with brain and body smart foods. That's what we all want. Optimists know that things don't always go their way. So when life knocks them down, they get back up and try again, knowing that the only thing you can control are your thoughts, the positive ones. So the only question left to ask is, which camp do you fall in? How did you do this week? And what do you need to work on through our private coaching? Have you succumbed to the negativity bias so that you're trapped in a brain that chooses to create pain and suffering? Or are you using that positivity bias, the Pollyanna principle, to create thoughts and feelings that serve your goals to get you lasting results in your life? I want to hear from you. So please drop a comment in our Facebook page. Let us know which camp you're in and what are you working on. Until then, I will see you on Monday at noon for group coaching. Good luck this week. Go get positive, my friends.